there. So let's now take a look at the biggest stories from the world of sport and showbiz. And to do that, we are joined and delighted to be joined in the studio by Hayley Palmer and Aidan McGee. I don't know where to start. Where should I start? Go on, Aidan. Tell us the big sports stories.
Well, yeah, we're only about, 45 minutes away from the Manchester Derby today at Old Trafford. Really big game this because it has a bearing on the title race. Manchester City played against Southampton earlier in the week. They lost to the bottom side in the Premier League in the Carabao Cup. I think they'll be back today. I think Erling Haaland's going to be back in the starting lineup. He scored 21 goals in 16 games this season. That's more than Chelsea have scored in the entire season in their entire squad. So
he lives up the road from me. I just thought.
Erling Haaland?
Yes.
Where?
Oh, he's in Cheshire. Yeah. They're all in Cheshire.
I know they are. I was recently with that parish myself, so I know all about it. You know,
but he's
a sad loss to the area. I think
he's unbelievable, isn't he?
Yeah,
he's unbelievable.
So if he gets 2 more goals today, for example, then he goes to the total that was enough to win the Golden Boot in the previous 2 years. So he goes to 23 goals. That was enough to win the Golden Boot, and we've still got 3.5 months left of the season. It's extraordinary. But since United lost 6-3 to City earlier in the season, they've lost 1 game in the last 18. So there's a gradual improvement. And I think this is probably the closest derby we've seen in maybe 8 years or so, 9 years.
And of course, tomorrow is the North London derby.
Exactly.
Arsenal-Tottenham, massive game there.
It is. So, look, Arsenal will be hoping for a United win today. If City win, they go to Old Trafford, get a result where they've only lost once since about 2014, I think. If they go there and get a result, it puts real pressure on Arsenal to win tomorrow. And that's a fixture they don't do well in. Arsenal have only won 1 away game at Tottenham since 2007. So the odds are against them. And that's at 3 venues. That's at Wembley, the old White Hart Lane, the new White Hart Lane. So it's not a happy hunting ground for them. But they need to win. Simple as that.
Hayley, will you be watching the Manchester Derby today?
I won't.
But do you know what was the best news ever for Philip, who is a S Club 7 fan, a huge S Club 7 fan?
Well, a Rachel Stevens fan in particular.
Oh, okay. We'll have to get on.
Who isn't a Rachel Stevens fan?
But go on, tell us the good story. Philip could hardly contain himself.
Yeah.
Philip, I did not know this about you. You've gone off with my
Fantastic.
observations
Thank
that
you so
you
much.
love S Club.
Absolutely.
They are reuniting 25 years after their first single. I am personally living for this as well, because we all need a bit of reach for the stars, don't we? Don't stop moving. I know every dance routine. I know every lyric to every song.
5 years ago, seriously.
Yeah.
You're older than you think, Aidan.
I know, I'm certainly
turned 45 recently. And yeah, it's just great news because for me personally, I love all the 90s stuff. I love all the 80s stuff. It's all making a comeback. And apparently Simon Fuller actually phoned every single member personally and asked them. And I know poor Jo O'Meara, she watches the show. She has had a very bad back, but she is getting better. So we're really thrilled and delighted. And we're all going to have to get tickets to go and see S Club 7, aren't we?
Yeah, well, count me in. Count me in for that, definitely. No,
I'm not necessarily an S Club 7 fan.
Come on, admit it. There's no shame.
They're all right. I heard about Oasis this week, though. They're bringing out their own brand of soup. You get a roll with it.
Oh, God.
But there is news, isn't there, with Noel and his wife, separated after 22 years.
Yes, it's on the front
very
page
sad.
of the papers,
Very sad news. And also sad news this week, Lisa Marie Presley dying. I saw you wrote about it in your column, Esther, and I was really, really heartbroken to read that, because 2 days ago I was watching the Golden Globes, and there she was with Austin Butler, who played Elvis in the film, giving him a hug. And I did actually see an interview, and she did look a little bit unstable. She asked her friend if she could hold on to him, and her speech was a little bit slurred. And I just thought it was such incredibly sad news because, I mean, as you know, she was married to Michael Jackson. She was married to Nicolas Cage. She was actually married 4 times. She leaves behind her children. I know one of them actually committed suicide in 2020, but she still has twin girls and another daughter. So
It says on the front page of the Mirror that she died of a broken heart, that she never recovered after the suicide of her 27-year-old son 2 years ago.
She blamed herself, I think, a lot for that. I mean, it is just tragic circumstances, and it seems the tragedy of Elvis carried on, didn't it, in their whole family. I hope it stops now, but yes, and a wonderful film, Elvis, and Butler was exceptional. He paid
that award.
He paid great tribute, didn't he, to both Lisa Marie and Priscilla Presley.
Yeah, I know they've got a really good relationship. But I mean, apparently she was complaining of stomach pains on the day, and then she was admitted to hospital. And yeah, it just like broke my heart to read it, really. And big Elvis fans, aren't we? So
talking of films, we went to see the Whitney Houston film.
Did you like it?
Well, I'm being honest, right?
Yeah,
I thought it lacked a little bit more story. I would have liked to have seen more story. There was more singing. So if you enjoy watching sort of Whitney, there were lots of songs, sort of more or less in the fullness, whereas I would have liked to have known a little bit more. So if I put it in I'd put Bohemian Rhapsody, definitely number one, with Elvis right there.
Okay.
Those two.
Well,
then below that, I'd put Elton John, and then I think I'd put that one.
Oh, would you?
Yeah.
The Elvis one was interesting. You mentioned about the story, because you got the full story there. I learned loads of stuff about Elvis, about the agent, how the fact that he didn't perform outside of the USA. I didn't realise this because his agent basically didn't have a passport, and he had his passport taken off him.
Yes.
Is that right? Yeah. So I didn't know that. That was a story that I liked. And there's a little bit of music in it, wasn't there, as well?
But what a genius the agent was, because unbelievably he kept in America but was satelliting out, and he saw more people, like 1 billion people across the planet, by staying in America. I mean, it was incredible.
Yeah, it was.
So there you go. So that's in the pecking order.
Okay, maybe it's because I love Whitney's songs. I like to attempt those in the shower, so maybe that's why.
She didn't buy enough chocolates to eat it. That was the one. That's what she was really unhappy about.
Brad Pitt?
I was said yesterday on that I often get mistaken for. We had a Kate Middleton lookalike on the show yesterday. Yeah. And I was speculating that I'm often mistaken for Brad Pitt.
I mean, I have to say, when I first saw you,
who mistakes you for
Nobody. Nobody.
Well, he actually chipped his tooth, Brad Pitt, but we're pleased to announce that he's had it fixed. He had it fixed for the Golden Globes. But I mean, I think he can get away with it because he is Brad Pitt. But we're all a little bit conscious, aren't we? Especially if it is your teeth. But I'm sure he had private healthcare and he got it sorted straight away. And there he is, that gorgeous smile.
He's older than you, Brad Pitt.
Is he? You wouldn't know, would you? Just to be perfectly honest.
Well, no, not at all. I mean, you're the same. You look exactly the same. So.
Tennis next week?
Yeah, that's right. So Monday we got the Australian Open gets underway. We had all the furore last year about Novak Djokovic not being allowed entry into Australia. It's his tournament. He's won 9 of them already. I think that if you look at it last year, I think he probably would have won that tournament. So by standing his ground, he really sacrificed that title. That would have put him one ahead in Grand Slams, ahead of Nadal, 2 ahead of Federer. But he goes there this year. He played an exhibition yesterday with Nick Kyrgios, who's a local favourite. He wasn't sure of the reception he would get, because some people in Australia would think, well, actually, you tried to flout our rules. I don't think that was the case. I think he went to Australia genuinely believing that he would get in, and obviously it didn't. But I think he's in good form. He won Wimbledon last summer, of course. His tails are up, and I think that he'll probably go on and win it this time. I really do.
I saw an obscure sporting story, actually. I bet I've got one here that you didn't see. I read it. No,
we're going to have a duel on obscure sports stories.
I read it in the Racing Post this week.
Was it to do with horse racing?
No, it wasn't. It was to do with football.
All right.
But it was a betting story about football. Apparently, there's an investigation going on into the FA Cup match between Oxford United and Arsenal over irregular betting patterns over one of the Oxford defenders getting a yellow card during the course of the match.
Right.
And apparently there was an unusual amount of money staked on a particular Oxford defender getting a yellow card, and lo and behold, he got a yellow card, and they're now running an investigation into those irregular betting patterns. But I'm sure nothing untoward happened. I'm sure it was all...
No, I'm sure it was all...
It's an interesting story, that.
Look,
it shows how closely they're watching things, monitoring the money going in and out and things happening.
Well,
it does show that...
They're reporting back to the FA. That's what it is, because the FA are the ones who launched the investigations.
Yes.
Alan Carr?
Yes, Alan Carr is replacing David Walliams on the Britain's Got Talent panel, if you're thinking of auditioning. Now, I think it's because that Alan and Amanda Holden are very good friends. They're currently doing a TV show together, so I think that might have something to do with it. I thought it was going to be Stephen Mulhern. I really did. But that is the news. I know the producers were frantically trying to find a replacement. They have done, so yeah, I believe auditions...
How do you think he's going to... Do you think this is a positive move?
I think it is, but I think he's so jokey that I wonder if he can be at all serious. Do you know what I mean? Like, he's brilliant fun, but is it going to be a bit much? We don't know. We're going to have to tune in, I guess.
Is he going to give serious feedback? It's a good point, isn't it? I don't know. I can't see him being serious, to be honest.
His dad was a serious guy. I tell you, a serious football man.
Really?
Graham Carr, he's football manager in the lower leagues, and he was a scout recently for Man City and for Newcastle United. Yeah?
See, I've always wanted Aidan in my pub quiz too.
Yeah,
he's absolutely...
But it is. I mean, even if you're a comedian, showbiz is serious business. You've
Yeah.
got to make sure that you're good enough. You've got to make sure you're out and about. You've got to make sure. So I think he will be. You might see a different side of him.
We might do. I mean, his shows that he, when he has his guests come on, he's absolutely fantastic. Like, he's one of my favourite comedians.
Yeah.
It's just that it's a completely different role for him.
I think we could see a new side of him. Well, look, it's been fantastic as ever to have the inside scoops, the inside stories. Aidan, Hayley, see you both next week. But that is all from us this week. Thank you for watching. Up next is Alistair Stewart and friends, and we'll be back next Friday with all the latest news, all the latest political insights next Friday and Saturday. See you then.